talking with Keith McCloskey about the lighthouse, the mystery of Even More. The lighthouse keepers, three men who disappeared. The stage has now been set. We mentioned about the movie The Wicker Man, sort of set at the same west coast of Scotland. So one of our listeners mentioned that that movie, by coincidence, aired tonight on Dish TV. And so they already had it on their minds. We're talking about a very remote location, shrouded in not only fog and wind and sea spray, but myth and mystery. And
No, don't shoot! Take what you want! Hold on, please. I'm emptying it.
From the face of the earth, never seen again, a mystery that has never been exactly solved. But there are a lot of theories about it, some of them pretty strange, and Keith McCloskey has thrown a wide net and looking at all of these ideas. We're going to get into some of the theories about who these men were, what their life was like. And
I really need to get insurance.
This on Coast to Coast AM.
Charges on unsecured loans, and you can have money in your account in as little as one business day, and it only takes a few minutes to apply. And right now, Avant will also give you a $50 Amazon.com gift card after your first payment is made on time. To check your rates at no risk and to get this special offer, go to Avant.com today. It's 6262 at checkout. That's www.avnmusic.com, promo code 6262. Loans are made by Avant. Funds are deposited for delivery next business day for 3 by 4:30 p.m. Central Time, Monday through Friday. Amazon is not a sponsor of this promotion. Other restrictions apply. See website for details. Weekdays, noon till 3. News Radio Launches.
Keith McCloskey, let's talk a little bit about the planets and what we did about shipping and freight.
Ships coming round from the east coast, round the top of Scotland, and then they'd head across the Atlantic. It was obviously 7 rocks sticking out of the sea. If you can't see them in the dark, could present quite a hazard to shipping. And even with the lighthouse there's been ships wrecked on some of the outlying rocks.
Well, there's another spooky little angle to it too. There's how many seamen lost their life out there over the centuries because of those rocks jutting out of the water.
Yeah, many. There was a lot of shipwrecks out there, close to them and on the rocks themselves, with not a lot of hope of survival in cold North Atlantic water either. It was purely because it was so far, especially in past times. You were as good as gone, because even if you get off the island, there was no way of survival.
You mentioned in the beginning how a lot of people get hooked on just investigating and reading about lighthouses. You hooked me. I mean, I didn't know any of this stuff. The part about Robert Louis Stevenson family was an added bonus, but it must have been a daunting challenge in the beginning when lighthouses were first developed. You needed them. There's no question it would work and it would help. But the question was, who was going to pay for it? We'll talk about that a little bit.
Well, it's the Northern Lighthouse Board, which was set up to administer all the lighthouses in Scotland. It was then, and it is now, a self-funding body. And what happened is that all the ship owners would pay dues, if you like, to the Northern Lighthouse Board, and in return they would provide safety at sea, basically, is what they were after. But it was very hit and miss in the early days. The Stevensons were sort of, if you like, kept on as the favoured consulting engineers because they knew what they were doing, but obviously they had to be paid. And building a lighthouse out in the middle of nowhere costs a lot of money. And one of the things that dogged this particular project was the sheer cost of it, because people who had bid for it found that they had underquoted the cost of allowing for all the material to be taken out to this place. And there was arguments that went on long after the actual lighthouse was operating over the cost of it, and eventually the Lighthouse Board agreed to pay for it. But it was, nobody likes paying up when they've been told something.
I don't keep a record of
I
purchases.
think that still applies today, but if you're given a price to do a job, you think that's all it's going to be. But nobody likes to pay over the odds for anything. But it was way undercosted for what it cost to build it.
Let's talk about the lighthouse keepers themselves. You detail in the book of the sort of the hierarchy, which position is the top dog, and how it works, and how you work your way up the ranks. And I would imagine you had to be a special kind of person to take on a job like that, to be out there in a remote, hostile place. This island you're talking about is battered by wind and waves and sea spray all the time. That's not a job for everybody.
Yeah, you have to be a really special proper person, because when you think about it, most of us go to a place of work during the day, and you might hate the job and you think, well, at least I can get a new job, and at least I can go home at 5 o'clock or whatever time we finish. When you're there for at a time, 28 days, and you get 28 days off. And in that time, you are with 2 other men. If you hate them, you're stuck there with them. And there was a strict hierarchy. You had the principal, and if he, I don't know, can't use that language on your radio.
You can. Go ahead.
If he was not a very nice person, you call one word, you were stuck with him. And then there were some principal lightkeepers, as they were known. They were real pirates, but you were stuck with it. You were in that lighthouse, literally cooped up with these 2 other men, whether you liked it or not, whatever their foibles were, and you had to put up with it till you get off your 4 weeks leave. And not just that, you were back at the end of your 4 weeks leave, and you might be there for 3-4 years.
And then you get moved around, sort of like the military almost.
They do. Yeah, they did. Obviously, we're all connected down, but the best you could hope for was that you go on to another posting where you might get on a bit better with the people you're with. But I interviewed quite a few ex-lighthouse keepers for the book, and it's interesting. All of them said to me that they never made friends with people that they worked with. You know, their friends were outside the lighthouse pub. I'll say familiarity breeds contempt, maybe, but it must have been a very difficult situation. I think it needs to be a certain type of person who could live that sort of life in such close proximity to other people.
And who took these jobs? I mean, was it the same kind of guys that might sign up for a military position of
Well, a lot of them were ex-seamen. You know, we're seafaring on. You know, you're working with the sea, and it's if you like to look at it, it's not quite the same, but you know, the terminology is all the same, and you know, you're dealing with the weather and the sea all the time, so you know, you have to understand the way things work, and the lighthouse is there to protect the ships, if you like. So well, they would take any of people's money, walk around. One of the lighthouse men I interviewed who spent his working life there, so it was like an electric. So, you know, they've got to catch around, they want to do something different, so they went on and had an interview which, you know, lasted about 20 minutes, and they would ask me to cook, and that was it, he got the job. But what happened was quite a high dropout, you had the interview, apparently, and then you'd be sent a contract flying with your tickets to go, well, they're all out, you know, in outlandish place, you send your own tickets to get there, to get a boat out, you know, go on and work on the mainland, but a lot of people would accept the job or have it in their pocket, but be at the railway station and change their mind and decide not to go. So, you know, it's awful because they would be receiving a man who'd already done 4 weeks, but the fact that he decided not to take the job, or whoever was stuck on, say, a particular island would have to wait, you know, another 4 weeks before he could get off. They might try and find somebody else to leave him. So there was a lot of that happening because people would think that they'd be attracted by the life, and then the reality of what that life might entail would sink in, and they think, well, I'm not happy with it. And it's that way.
was the money worth it? Was it really well paid for the time, or
no, the attraction of the lighthouse was that you had before the market provided in the old days, you know, you get a hold of that as well. You would have to provide. So for a young man, you could probably say the money wasn't that great, but you know, it was a living wage, if you like. But you have to have accommodation provided for you. And if you were a young man with a young family, a wife and a family, then accommodation would be provided for the whole family. And obviously you couldn't go to a station like the Flammonds because the children didn't get to school. So, you know, there were some attractions to it.
You're not going to spend any money at Elan Moor. I guess you have to save it while you're there.
Oh yeah, that would have been, that being there were men out there. One of the men who disappeared, the principal, he was a married man with 6 children. But the shore station is where the family were based in accommodation that was provided for them.
Tell me about the hierarchy. Would this have been a prestige assignment, or is this the dregs? This is what you get when you're bottom of the barrel kind of a thing at this point?
No. It was quite. I'd say it was considered to be quite a select job because it wasn't an easy job, and it required a certain type of personality to do it. And I think when somebody started that type of work, you knew within a few months.
Merriweather, for all your private security needs. How can I help?
I'm not saying
Your Merriweather Air Team is on its way.
Men have their own hobbies. You know, some men like being on the you know, some men like fishing, some men like to read, some men even like knitting, apparently, or so. You could follow your own hobbies, and if you were a kind of solitary individual, there must be in heaven for some of them. You know, on Elan Moor, you had 3 men there, but we got you covered. 300 feet long and 300 feet it wasn't a job for them. They knew that very quickly and they would leave.
All right, great place to catch up on your reading. So tell me, introduce us to the three men we're talking about who vanished, who they are, and then in part of that, maybe take a few minutes to describe what their daily duties were and like how they divvied it up, what the schedule was like.
Yeah. Well, on the island, the three that disappeared were the principal, James Suffolk, and he had 22 years service in the Northern Lighthouse service with them. He was a fast man to stay and well experienced. He didn't have much experience of Rock Lighthouse, though. The stations he'd been on weren't quite as remote or as difficult, if you like, as the flat. But he was, he had plenty of experience and knew what he was doing. By all accounts, he was quite a reasonable person to work for. The next man that was on the island with him that day was Thomas Marshall. He was a big, powerful man who was over 6 foot tall, quite strongly built. He was a bachelor, 28 years old, and he was, what's the word? He was relatively new, but he still had 5 years service under his belt, so again, he knew what he was doing. And the third man that should have been there was a guy called William Ross. He had 2 children, but he had been severely injured in an accident, and he'd been taken off the island. So he should have been present there that day that the men disappeared. But he was replaced by what they call an occasional keeper. The occasional keepers were guys who lived in the nearest villages, if you like, or the nearest available men to the lighthouses, and they could be called them. They had their own life, if you like. They might have forced to say to somebody, we need you out there on 3 weeks ago, so-and-so places, but you can't work, so you need to go out, you would then go out. So the occasional lot that would disappear that day was a guy called Donald McCartney. He had been in the army, and he was from Lewis, the main island, and he lived in Brea Creek, which is where the shore station was, and he had his own crops there. So he had, if you like, his own livelihood, but he was available to go out when he was required, and he'd only been out there a few times. But I'm going to come on to him later on when I discuss one of the theories. But he was an older man, but he'd done time in the army with a young family. But he'd only been out in the island a few times, literally a couple of weeks at a time, just to familiarise himself with it. But at the point on the day he disappeared, he had spent nearly 3 months there covering for Ross.
And I guess we'll get into it later, but he was sort of a man with a temper, as I recall.
Well, I don't know whether you want to talk about that now, but I'm going to discuss that.
Well, we can come back to it again, because we're going to get into the theories in the next segment. But tell me a little bit about how they divvied up the work detail each day. Yeah, I was trying to figure out, why does it take 3 guys?
Basically, the principal was the boss. His word went. He'd say to the assistant line keepers, the occasional one, you would have 2 assistant line keepers. He would say, you'll do this today, you'll do that. And the work involved maintaining the station. The lights had to be cleaned every morning. Preparation we switched on at night, and there was lines to be pulled down, cleaned, and cleaning was a big part of it, cleaning brass work. One man was nominated as cook. One of the men would say that he'd be a cook for a week, so that would mean he would have to prepare all the food and all the vegetables, and meat would be taken out when the supplies came out. Would be done on a very regular basis. The rubbish would have to be taken out. They used to bring up material supplies saved and they have to be maintained. So there's a winch there, a winch that has to be checked and cleaned every day. So all this type of work was generally done in the morning. So there was a shift routine as well. One keeper would have to be on duty all night while the light was on. So the afternoon tends to be for rest and recuperation, if you like. The jobs would be done in the morning. You have the afternoon for R&R. And whoever was going to look after the light that night would have to sleep in order to be awake, so it'd be up during the night to make sure the light kept working all right. Because the biggest sin in the lighthouse board was it was called standing the light, which was to allow the light to stop working or go out, and you could be dismissed for it.
Well, yeah, it'd be like an air traffic controller falling asleep or something.
Hello, you're through to Merriweather Security Consulting. What can I do for you?
I remember one of the keepers I interviewed for the book was telling me he was on a lighthouse on the west coast, so the mainland lighthouse, and he said he woke up one night and he needed to go and answer the call of nature. He looked out of the window and he noticed something strange, that the light was
Call back soon.
shining straight ahead out from the light, but it wasn't moving. So he ran up the stairs, and there was quite a tall light, it was about 280 feet up. And he found the bloke was fast asleep there, so he gave him a chance. He didn't say anything about it, because he would have lost his job if that had been, if the principal who was asleep had found out about it.
Keith McCloskey is the author of the book, The Lighthouse, The Mystery of the Elin Moore Lighthouse Keepers. When we come back, we'll hear about the disappearances and the theories about what may have happened when three men who vanished off the face of the earth. Much more to come on Coast to Coast.
The official website of Coast to Coast AM is coasttocoastam.com. Log on now. Now, a year in rock spotlight. 1973. Led Zeppelin released